Good morning. Oh, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh, hold on. I can fix that.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
That's better. Your
Got the old. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh. Yep. Okay, that's better.
You're on mute. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Still?
No, I can hear you. I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing the joke to me.
Oh, okay.
The joke's on me. It's my way of sticking it to the man. but you are the man.
I'm the man this morning.
So you're sticking it to yourself.
There we go. I'm rubber your glue, something.
There you go. Rubber glue, bubble gum in your hair. Mauricio, he's here.
Morning. Good evening.
Mouty in the howdy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
what's
this
up, dude?
morning, we're going to continue. I have a treat for y'all. Oh, by the way, there is a really, really cool trailer for Twinmotion out right now. It actually just popped up this morning. It's pretty amazing to see what people are doing with this architecture stuff. So we're going to play with it. This is some of the new features that are inside of here. I've already got a couple things set up. But before we do, I definitely want to bring this in really quick. And from last week, we were actually talking about doing stuff inside of Maya. So I did have to go in and actually play with the UVs on these objects just to get them kind of lined up. Sometimes you have to worry about this. Sometimes you don't. The place that I find that you actually have to worry about these are any of the objects that are like round. They go all the way around like this. I ended up having to just straighten them out. And that seemed to work a whole lot better. These other round ones in here, they're going to be metal. So I'm not really worried about what they look like. And they're just kind of these inner loops, these little really skinny spots right here. So I'm not too worried about those. But these bigger ones, I wanted wood slats to actually run across them properly. So I had to straighten them out. So a couple things that you may or may not have to worry about. But if I was doing something like concrete, it really wouldn't matter what I'd have to do for the UVs on these. So if you ever run into issues, now you know why. What's actually going on.
It was the pattern that was getting you? You had to straighten it out first?
Yeah, the way the UVs were actually set up. When I was putting the materials on them earlier, it was going, no, and it was stretching them, and it was looking like mud. And it was like, oh, I don't want mud on my fountain yet.
Not yet.
It's nice and new. I don't want mud in there yet.
Not one of those fountains.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a the other one that I had to go ahead and play with was this one. So these guys, these pieces that sit around the outside edges, you can see I laid these ones out a little bit differently too. So it should work well enough for what we need today.
Nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, because they were total garbage. They were really, really bad. Oh, it was ugly. So just a few.
I was trying to find a nice way to say that, but you know.
Yeah, there's only so many 4-letter words I can say on so early in the stream. So here we are in Twinmotion. This is what it actually looks like.
Wow.
So real quick, we'll kind of go over some of the interface stuff. To begin with, down here in the bottom left, all of the stuff that you see down here, this is a little import spot. This one specifically, and you can import your pieces. You got to import them in one at a time, but it drops them directly into the level or world, depending on what you want to talk about, which is awesome. So they're all ready to go. Now I did line all these up so that they would line up perfectly inside of this whole thing. So they're all ready to go. So I already kind of did some pre-work on that one. We'll get into a few more of the bits and pieces of the interface. Up here at the top, this is the default navigation. When you actually open it up, you can actually change the navigation. So Unreal, Revit, 3D Max, ArcCAD, Cinema 4D, Rhino. So whatever you're comfortable with, will help you out a lot. To be able to move the camera quickly or slow it down, you can hit the 1 through 4 keys on the keyboard. This is new. Yay. I'm so happy that this exists. So they used to only have like 1 through 3 and you had to go up through the menus. We're not going to get into what you used to have to do, but that's pretty much what was going on. I'm going to go ahead and hide this because I don't need this stuff up here at the top. If I can get down to the button. Okay, it's not going to let me do it. We'll do it through here. Down here on the side.
You got a planet spinning over there.
I do. We'll get into how I was making that happen because there's a reason I put those little slats in there. Yeah. There's no way for these to actually, it's kind of funny enough, these totally hover. The bridge totally hovers. There's nothing actually really holding where these slats are. So we're going to imagine.
Architecture. It's like you figure it out. I'm the designer. Yeah.
It's funny. That's kind of how I roll.
You need a fabricator to take care of that for you.
You hired me for a look. You didn't actually hire me for architecturally sound. By the way, Pluto, this little Pluto thing is going to go right through the edge of that thing. It just barely misses it.
Yeah. So if you wanted to spend more time kind of making that curved a little bit, you could, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
It serves the purpose.
Yep. We can see that we've got Michael over here. He's just hanging out. He's waiting for the world to actually get used to the controls here. So he's just waiting for the world. These animated characters, I didn't make this. This is something that actually lives inside of Twinmotion. You can just drag and drop these characters in here. They just do their thing. They're actually a lot of fun. Once you select them, you can actually change, are they on idle? He's just going to hang out. Is he on idle 2? Is he drinking a cup of coffee, or what's he got in his hand? He's actually got a soda in his hand there. Phone 1, phone 2. And it's all ready to go. All you got to do is just kind of grab him and kind of put him where you want. We can put him in the water. He's walking on water. Yay.
That was interesting how he automatically snap to a surface?
He does if I grab the center of this gizmo.
Okay.
He'll just auto snap to it.
Yeah.
You can actually set it up so that he'll like snap to the normals on the directions of the material.
The
objects. So he'd be coming off to the side. There's a bunch of other idle things in here. You can have him laying down, just kind of hanging out. You can have him dancing and rocking out, doing the thing. And then each one of these has got its own little like set of things that they can do. So there's oodles and oodles of things you can make these characters do. What's cool is if you have them for sitting, they kind of float, which is kind of fun. Whoops, let's do this. But you can just kind of set him on top of something, and now he looks like he's actually sitting on top of that object. Whoops, wrong thing. Select him. There we go. We just got to move him back a little bit. So he'll just hang out like so.
That's cool.
Pretty easy. You can also change the color palette. So depending on what color you want him actually to be wearing, you can set that up too. So if there's something that you want to within your projects, if you have a color palette that you want to maintain, you kind of actually have the ability to continue to do that, which is really awesome. So that's pretty much how that's set up. So let's talk a little bit more about the interface before we jump in. On the right hand side, you'll find a little tiny button up here in the corner. This will actually send you into presenter mode. We'll probably get to that later. It's basically just how would you want to send off your information so that people get a chance to look at it the way you want them to look at it? Like, cool. Like, do you want to do stills? Do you want to do videos? Do you want interactive? There's all that. The little eyeballs actually got some fun things that you can actually change the time of day on the fly, which is pretty cool. If you go nighttime, you do actually get stars, which is fun.
Wow.
Stars and moons. So let's just set that. Whoops. Set that back to kind of afternoonish. There is also the speed up here, so 1 through 4. If you want to actually take a screenshot, you can do that here. You can set it up so you're in presenter mode, whether you're actually walking around or you're flying as a drone, which is pretty cool. You'll also notice that there's like this F1 button over there, and it says this little YouTube icon. It'll take you directly to YouTube and tell you how to use these things. Like, they're really awesome about that. If you've got a VR headset, you can jump into a VR headset and look in your world there. These views are for top, down, side, 3/4. I pretty much just leave it in perspective mode, which works well enough for what I'm going to be doing. And then over here, we've got some clipping information. I've never played with this. I have no idea what this does. So there it is. There is a little tiny arrow right here. If you open this up, this is your outliner. So this is everything that is actually inside of my world. So you can see I've got my scene graph and then all of the planets. And then there's Michael hanging out. You'll notice down here at the bottom, I've got this little rotator, and we'll talk about how to set these up too. You actually have to put whatever object you want onto that rotator and then set that rotator up to make that happen. At the very bottom, we've got transforms, but you've also got information like Bim information. Now, I don't have any Bim information in here. For those that understand what that is, you're like, oh, there it is. Cool. For those that don't understand what it is, when you're bringing stuff in from CAD programs, there is information in there. I don't remember what BIM stands for. I'm an artist. I never played with that, but it does have all that information in there, like, sizes and shapes and what the materials are and tolerances. It's got a bunch of really cool stuff in there. There's also transforms. This is the one I use most often as an artist, so I can tell where my object is. And then statistics, you can see how many frames you're running, GPU usage. You can see exactly what's happening on here. So that's nice.
So BIM is building information modeling. It's an intelligent 3D model-based process that gives architecture, engineering, construction professionals the insight and tools to more efficiently plan, design, construct, manage buildings and infrastructure. Something like that. Just going off of memory.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
The other thing that I don't know if we explained yet, if I missed it, but how do you get Twinmotion?
Oh, yeah. I'm so used to talking about that stuff in the other videos. So Twinmotion, is absolutely, totally, and completely free. So if you go to the Epic website, actually, we can probably just do Twinmotion.
I'll put the website in the link in the chat.
Yeah, I'll bring this up here.
And then maybe show the launcher.
So Twinmotion, what is this thing? So yeah, it's totally free. It runs through the Epic Games launcher, and it allows you to seamlessly integrate your data pipeline. This is incredibly impressive. Like, if you're into architecture or you're into doing just building worlds, this is like the most enjoyable way. One of the most enjoyable. There's plenty of ways to do it. There's one of the most enjoyable ways to do this. There's tons and tons of support. If you got questions, they're always answering these things. Like, get started, play with it, like do the things. It's just astonishing what you can do with this program. It does run within the Unreal Engine. You don't have to have the engine running, but it's like an offshoot of it. So it's like another version of Unreal. They've stripped a lot of things out of Unreal, so you don't have to worry about, setting up materials. All this stuff is already ready to go for you. Just absolutely amazing. Games, architecture, automotive, broadcasting, film. Like, this is all the stuff that Unreal Engine does, but the architecture is really where Twinmotion shines. It's literally built for that. You can drag and drop, quote unquote, you can drag and drop stuff straight out of your architectural whatever program that you're using, whether it's AutoCAD or it's some of the other ones. I never played with SketchUp's another one. Yeah, you can just pretty much integrate it directly into there. There's oodles and oodles of videos, but I'm going to play inside of here so y'all can kind of see this. If you actually got the Epic Games launcher, you can find it up here at the top. Just say Twinmotion. There you go. And you just launch it out. Again, just all the information that you're ever going to need for it. So we're going to go through and basically just play with a lot of the features today, and just kind of get a feel for how you can actually get this up and running. So yeah, thank you for reminding me. It's worth it to have that in there. Like I said, it's free, so no sense in not having it.
I saw it's free for education, and then there's like a commercial use license with a free trial.
Yeah, so if you've got an EDU license and you've already got Unreal up and running, use it through there and make it happen. It's so nice. It's so nice. Okay, a little bit more about the interface over here. So on the left, let's actually go back to the top because I was playing with it. You have a library over here. So you've got materials, landscape stuff, objects, lights, characters, Quixel mega skins. Oh,
whoa.
Yeah, it's all sitting in there. Okay, not all of it, but quite a bit of it is in there. These take a little bit longer to load in because they've got a lot more pieces that go with them. They're really, really high resolution, both in texture and in model, and they're really nice. They're beautiful. So then your characters, you've got some vehicles you can throw in here. You've got a user library should you want to save your own stuff, and then some tools. And these ones are things like measuring, as well as the little rotator that I'm using for Pluto here as it goes around. So there's those giant library in there. At the bottom, like I said, we have our import spot. Down here a little further, we've got some vegetation or context. So you can set up paths, vegetation scatter. And then if you come over here to urban, this is where we were kind of playing last week, and you can choose where you actually want to put your world. So if you pick a spot in here, it will actually generate the world around you, and then you can place your pieces in there. So if you have a proposal that is going into a very specific block on a very specific city, you can find that spot and you can actually kind of work around it, which is awesome.
That's really cool. I know a lot of places do, like, let's put a park in this where this rundown building is, or this unused plot of land, and you could pick that exact spot and drop something in there.
Yeah, make
it look real.
Yeah. So if you're thinking like sustainable parks or sustainable buildings and you want to put them in a very specific location, ta-da, or maybe you're rebuilding something that's a historical site, you can rebuild it in that spot, which is awesome. Which is a great segue into this right here. So this location, you can actually choose the time of day, the month, where you are, where your north offset happens to be, what you want as your background. So if you're like, oh, let's have, instead of that city, let's have like an island city. So you like kind of change everything that happens back here. It's incredibly just dynamic countryside. What is it that you want to do? So I'm planning on doing city one, so I'm going to leave the city one in there. You can actually rotate it around, get yourself really dizzy. Blah. Up here at the top, this is a good spot to actually kind of talk about the breadcrumbs. So these little breadcrumbs, you can click back and you can go back a little bit farther, one at a time. So if I wanted to, like, let's say somewhere in Denver, okay, cool. And you'll notice that the sunlight actually changes depending on where you're at. It understands latitude and longitude. which is really cool. I've got a sculpture that actually relies on that, so we're not going to bring it in today. Down at the bottom, we've got, you can take images. So this is really set up for like presenting stuff. So you can take screenshots of what you want. You can do panoramas, you can do videos, you get the cameras to actually fly from one place to another. Phasing, for those of you that are actually doing like, this is what the first floor is going to look like as it's being built. Like, okay, cool. And then you've got the second floor, third floor, maybe all the scaffolding on the outside of it. You can add in cranes and people working on it. Like, it's pretty wild, so that your investors can actually see what's going on. It's like, it's super cool. And then the presenter here on the far side, this is where we start to add in the videos so that when we actually send this to the client, which we can actually do through the internet, and fingers crossed, we'll get it to it today, and we'll leave a link down in the bottom of the description so you can actually click on this project and see what it actually looks like and look around inside of it through the internet. You don't actually have to have the program, which is awesome. Down here at the bottom are the actual exports. So once you have your images, your panoramas, your videos, and your presenter ready, you can then export that stuff out either as an exe that you can take to the client, or you can actually set this up on the internet and just kind of have them see it there. It'll be up on the cloud. So it doesn't rely on hardware if you set it up that way, which is way cool. So with all that, doesn't look like there's any questions. Let's start populating this and let's talk about what I was doing to get it going. Excuse me. So in here, these are all the pieces that I have. I've got my base, my bridge, the Earth, Jupiter, Mars, all the planets. And then over here on the right, we've got everything set up on this one. So what we can start to do, and this is the fun part, let's start just adding materials to all these pieces. Now, I broke this up in a way that's going to be really logical for me inside of Maya. I broke it up inside of Maya so I can actually set it up here. So over here on the side, let's go into our materials. Let's just start with some water. So let's see, eeny, meeny, miny. It's probably alphabetical, right? Yeah, there it is. So if we go into water, we've got pools, rivers, oceans, lakes, the sea, right? So let's just say pool 1. I'll just drag and drop it, and boom. Now I have water inside of here. Like so.
Look at that.
Down here on the bottom, I've got water depth. So I can kind of play with this. Maybe I want to thin this out a little bit. It doesn't need to be too deep. Let's say 0.5 meter. And you can see there's actually caustic lights kind of going on. Oh, got too close. There's actually caustic lights that are actually under there. You can set your waves. So maybe you want more or less in here. So maybe it's a nice tranquil pool. On the right, we have a little thing that's season on and off. Now, we haven't gotten to the weather yet, but this will react to the weather as we pull the slider on there. It's pretty wild. I can also change the color in here. So in case I want to have something that's a little bit more green, I want something that's a little bit more clear. Let's go a little bit more white and turn this like so. So that works pretty well. Of course, you can save your colors over here. You can set your RGB, and you got your hexadecimal value over here as well. So I'm just say cancel and send that back to what it was. Let's try pool 2. Ooh, I think I like pool 1 better. There we go. So there we go. There's pool 1. Yay, now we have some water in here. Now underneath it, which is going to be kind of hard to see, so let's actually back up. If I grab my water, I'm just going to slide this out of the way. You see it's just that plane that I had. So underneath it, I want to put concrete in under here. So let's go back up here and go to materials. Let's say concrete. So I've got oodles of suggestions over here. Let's actually open this up a little bit. So poured concrete, or maybe we want soft concrete. Maybe we want, striated concrete. So I can drag it on there, and then boom, now I've got concrete on here. This seems a little bit large. Let's get used to the control scheme here. Like this seems really big. So down here at the bottom, I can actually change my scale. So I can crank this down until I get what I'm looking for. Okay, if I want to set up some reflections, if I want to change my color, again, weather is over here. If we jump into the settings, you can see that we can actually play with the bump. This is going to be, I'm going to get a little closer here to see this. So this will actually change how much of the normal map it's actually playing with. I'm going to leave it 100. You can actually make things glow. I'm going to leave that off. If you need something that's metallic, or if you need something two-sided or X-ray, you've got all this stuff over here too. So I can see through that one. I don't necessarily need that one. And I don't need two-sided in this case. It's not going to be important. I don't necessarily like that concrete. And you'll notice, so let's go to this side because there's more sun. Of course, my water's in the way.
You have a leak, yeah.
I have a very big leak. You'll notice that the concrete got attached to this outside as well. And if I move this out of the way, whoa, undo. There we go. Water. Come here, water. It's going to give me a hard time trying to get at it. It actually put that concrete in the center of this too. And this is because if I can get my controls straight, I'm so used to Unreal right now. When I created this inside of Maya, I set it up so it had the same material on it there. So as you're working in your CAD program, it's the same setup. You can just drop it all in there. So I want something a little bit more fancy because I'm an artist, right? So let's go into something like stones. And I don't know, let's grab these ones. See how that looks. Those are a little large. So let's take our scale, knock those down. So let's say something like 0.05. There we go. So now I've got that. Now the water is sometimes a little tricky to get a hold of. There we got it. So let's set that back where it was. Actually, back into statistics. And let's go back into our transforms. And let's set this at 0. And we'll set that one at 0. There we go. So it sets it right back where it belongs. That thing back where it came from. Wait for it. There we go. And this is a little high, it looks like. So let's push it down. There we go. So cool. We've got 2 in there. So the inside of this, this is where my asteroid belt is. So I want to have some kind of rock in here. So let's go into materials. Let's go into ground. Let's see what we had. We've got man-made and we've got nature. Let's look for man-made. So we've got asphalts, concrete. So something to kind of think about. I tell my students this a lot. I'm like, you don't have to have it exactly what you want. Like, oh, I'm looking for like little tiny stones, right? Because I want it to look like the actual asteroid belt. But I can probably take something like one of these asphalts. Let's see here. Probably, let's use this one. So I can drag this and put it on there. And it's close enough. Like that works pretty well, right? And I can change my scale. Like so. So there's that one. Now I want a wooden parquet kind of around this outside edge. So let's go find a wood. Oh, where'd you go? I pass it. There it is. So wood. And we've got all these options in here. Let's do, should we do some chestnut? Let's try some chestnut. There we go. So there's some chestnut on there. Looking nice. Now you'll see that it wraps around. I don't want that. So we can go into our scale and we go into the more button, a little tiny button down here. We can actually change our rotation. So we set this at 90. And now that goes this direction. Let's go back. Let's use our little breadcrumbs over here. Then I can change my scale. And I can get lots and lots of these all the way around. There we go. It's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I'm not really that worried about it. Let's actually go 0.5 here. See if I can actually change the axes. Let's stretch it one direction. There we go. So now we're getting longer planks that run through here. And I can move it as well. I don't like where it's actually at. Yeah, that'll work. I don't like to get too specific with it. So we've got those. So I do want to put concrete on this outside edge. So let's go back over here, go into concrete, and let's use something like, let's do some poured concrete. There we go. So now we have that. Yeah, now I get a little extra little spots in there. Let's drop that scale down a little bit more. Very industrial looking. It does it on the outside as well. And there are a couple of spots in here. It should do it. Some of these edges as well. So let's also take this poured concrete. I'm just going to drag it onto this one as well. And then this metal, or the little blue spot, I want that to be metal. Back into here. Let's go into metals. I have oodles of metals to play with here. I would like something a little darker. Let's see if we can find something by default. Ooh, we've got carbon. Ooh, carbon's good for space stuff, right? We can do that. So let's drop the scale on that one again. It's a little much. Let's see what else we have here. Steel, titanium. Ooh, that titanium's cool. Let's drop that on there. So let's go over to our settings, and we've got metalness on. We can turn that on and off. You can see how shiny that actually gets. The bump is probably fine though. And reflection, I want it to be not nearly as reflective. There we go. All right, cool. So let's take that same one. I'm going to put it on these metal pieces out here too. This one. And I want this wood on this little walkway over here too. So there's a little tiny material picker over here. So a little eyedropper, right? So click on that, click that one, and then you can just drag that and boom, and then that's put on there. Now it does retain the same parameters that are actually going on in here, and you can create other materials based on this one. I don't remember how. It's been forever and a day, so I couldn't tell you, but it is possible to do that. You can make instances of these and then make that work for you. There's those. So let's look at these little metal rods that are coming in here. So I want that to be, it needs to be something that's stainless steel. I wonder if I've actually got stainless steel in here. Matte, chrome, brushed aluminum. Let's try aluminum. And because all of those have the same material on them, you see that they all change. So water, I don't want that. I want this one. Boom, like that. You can see I've already kind of got a material on this one as well. Let's go ahead and pick that one. Grab that. So this is that concrete slabs. So do I want these all to have that same kind of material on them? And honestly, no, I don't. So let's do something shiny. Let's do foil gold. Boom. So there's the sun's foil gold. And we can do, let's see. So let's select this one. So this concrete slabs, I'm actually going to take this color because this is Mars, make this a little bit more red. Right. So there's that. And
I was just going to ask if you could tint it, and sure enough, you can.
Very easy done, right? It's the thing. Let's take our fine concrete and let's actually put it up there on Mercury. So we can change that. Mercury's pretty sun bleached, so let's give it a little bit of brown yellow there, and then lighten it up like so. Say okay. So Mercury, Venus. Let's go bare concrete for that one. Venus is also a little bit yellow, kind of greenish. Let's go this way a little bit. Probably not that bright. So say okay. Let's see if we can. So let's say duplicate. Here it is. Ta-da! So we're going to say bare concrete 1. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. And bare concrete 2. Drag this one onto Earth. And we'll change this one to be a blue. A little blue planet. There we go. Jupiter. What color should we do Jupiter? Now we don't have, now we can actually put textures on these without having to worry about creating them all here. So if we wanted to kind of build all this stuff in there, we could definitely make that happen. So let's see what we got in plastics. So we have something in here that we can use. I want a plastic one. We got a rubber. Let's try that rubber on there. And we can actually, let's use, I think I like the idea. Oh, that one's crazy. Look at that one. What is going on there? I feel like that should be Neptune. Let's do that with Neptune. I like that with Neptune. Or Uranus, either one of them. Let's do Neptune though. So we got that. All right, so let's go back up there into our stones. See if we find something that's kind of Jupiter-esque.
Is there like a burled wood or something like that? Something that has burled B-U-R?
We don't have a burled wood.
No. Okay. Because wood has the grain to it that could curve. You had marble there, though, too. That could be interesting.
Marble?
It was on the left.
Concrete stones,
right there. Yeah, right down, right there.
Marble and granite. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah, so we can grab one of these. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Let's turn that reflection down a little bit. Doesn't need to be that bright.
Nice.
Change the scale on it. Something like that. Let's do a blue marble for this one. Let's change that scale on there. And turn that down a little bit. Cool. So there's those. So then the rings. Now I haven't UV'd the rings, so this is going to be interesting to see how this looks. I want something that kind of goes around it. Let's see what we can find. Let's look at roof coverings. What can we play with in here? What's this?
Solar panels.
Okay, so these ones aren't going to go around. That's just how that's going to be. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
But if it's not going to work that way, let's actually just put kind of a brass. Oh, but that's got lines in it, doesn't it? It does. So we'll take our scale. We'll just make it really big, and we'll get rid of them. And then go over here. Let's do our, whoops, wrong one. Inside the scale axis, and we can kind of push it. There we go. Oh. Just kind of, there we go.
Oh, so yeah.
Like that. Then we've got these two left. We can play with some glass. So it's kind of clear. Gas giants maybe should be glass. I don't know. We got a mirror. We can just make that one a mirror. Now we got to catch Pluto. So let's see. Let's pick something first before we try and catch it.
Pluto's the outcast, literally, like just running away.
What do we have here? Cobblestones, pebbles. Let's try pebbles. Let's see if we can get a hold of this one. Oh, I missed it.
Boom.
There we got it. Okay, cool.
Nailed it. Wow, he sniped it.
There we go.
210-yard snipe.
Right. You can see within just a couple of minutes, you can really just kind of populate your entire world.
Yeah.
Whatever pieces you've got in here. So this is just the beginning of it. So let's actually kind of play with some of the landscape stuff that we can work with in here too. And also, don't forget to save. Best friend ever. Wait for it. Hello, Tammy. We're doing well today. Making awesome. Okay, so the ground that you see out here, this whole ground thing, right? So with this one selected, delete, I'm just going to get rid of it. Goodbye. I don't want it anymore, right? So if we go up here, so landscape, vegetation, landscapes, right? We've got a flat one, and then we've got this rocky grasslands. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter which one I grab, but I'm just going to grab this one, bring it in, wait for it. So if you'd watched some of our previous streams, you saw me playing with the landscapes. This is that same technique. This already has the materials on it. You can see that the edges of this are already starting to look like they've got some kind of material on them that's different from what's actually on the flat ground, right? So where's my gizmo? Okay, so I can't lift it up. So everything's floating. So we'll come down here to the bottom. We'll say Sculpt
It's like
Terrain.
you come to me, I'm not coming to you.
That's the way it's going to be, right? This is going to be. And now if you got a tablet, this works pretty well. But you can click and drag, and you see it just kind of brings it up. You hold Shift, it'll take it down. So I'm going to take my intensity up, and you can see we've got different kind of brushes down here. So I'm going to bring this up to a point, and I'm not going to try and do this with a tablet because it's easier to navigate with a mouse. So I'm going to come down here and find a sweet spot. So Shift, I drop it, and then we've got a plateau here. So I can take this, and I can raise everything else up to it. And I do have to watch out for the section in the middle because that's gonna, you can see it's actually gonna come into my pool here. I don't want that. So I can at least get the outside edges. And let's back up here. Speed up the camera. There we go. Let's make our brush a little bit larger. Let's just flatten this whole thing off around here. Like so. And it's a little bit in his feet, but that's fine. We can lift him up. That's not that big of a deal. All right, so now we have some ground. Let's also, I don't know how bright it is on your guys' screen, but it just got really bright on mine. So I'm going to turn the sun down a little bit. There we go. All right, so let's build a park around this. Now that we've actually got some landscapes, and we can actually get a little bit crazy with this. Whoa. Okay, now
yeah, whoa, ski resort. Just like that.
Let's kind of put something kind of here. Now we can go through and kind of decide, you know, where we actually wanted to put this. I'm going to put this in kind of a little cove area. Bring that down, bring these over here, right? Somewhere to go and play. Let's actually flatten a little bit of this off here. Whoops, this way. We got that. Okay. So there's our landscape. Really easy to use. You can change the size of your brush, the shape of your brush, the intensity of it. All this stuff just lives down here. And this will automatically pop up if you've got the terrain selected. So if I come out of here, let's say we want to add in some vegetation types. So let's say trees. So there are way more trees than I will ever need inside of here. Okay, I know we haven't even gotten into the Quixel stuff yet. Like, there's just super cool stuff. So we can, let's say we want, oh, I don't know. Let's use this one, right? So click on this. Let's actually close this up a little bit so we can see which one we've got. So we've got our little leaf, right? So we can click once, boom, we get a tree, right? That's awesome. We can also come in here and we say paint vegetation. We can drag a couple of these in here. So that one and that one looks pretty good, right? And they've got little people next to them, so you can kind of see how big these trees actually are. So you can select a couple of them, grab your paintbrush, and you can just kind of paint these in here too. Like so.
Do they also vary the tree itself?
The trees are a little bit varied in there. So their colors and their sizes and their shapes and their rotations are a little bit different each time. You can change the diameter of your brush in here. Now, if I select just one of these, Okay, so the European ash, I can change how dense I want these trees to actually be in here as well.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I can change just those trees in here, so I can just add a few more. Within here, we've also got things like age. So let's get in here so we can see some of these trees. So we can actually change the age on just those trees. So maybe we want them to be very young, very old. Do they actually grow? You know, what's actually going on with these? Are they actually growing?
That's so cool.
You can change the leaf tint. So if you want them to be, you know, we're going to change the fall here thing in a minute, but you can change them all here as well. You can change the bark on here. So your season is auto. And then if you want your wind, you can turn your wind on. And right now they are probably blowing a little bit. Yeah, they're barely moving. I don't know if you all can see that on screen, but you can see them moving a little bit.
Yeah.
Turn it off, then they don't move. Turn them on, they move. Back over to our paint vegetation. So I also would like to have, let's move up here, some grass in here as well. So if we go back into something like our grass and our flowers, we have oodles of these. Let's actually take, if I delete this, is it going to get rid of those trees? I thought so. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab, let's see, we get some long grass, some dry grass, wild grass. We're kind of out in the sticks. So let's grab some wild grass. Let's add in some clovers. Where are my little, yeah, so we got buttercups, we got daisies, we got yarrows. Let's add some yarrows in there. All right, so let's grab these and we'll grab our paintbrush. Make this a little bit larger. Now, something to be aware about this is if I do this, I've got all my trees in there and everything. Actually, take those out. That one, and that one.
Right. And density will also just make it more scattered, right? With more space in between, kind of randomized.
Kind of. It doesn't really scatter them out. It doesn't have the same kind of things that I've noticed inside of Unreal where you can say, oh, well, make sure that you don't have them like right next to each other, kind of a thing. Like it's a little bit different. And you're just going to give me all of these. I don't want all of these. All right, fine. We're going to do it this way then.
It'd be interesting if you can control the balance of how much for each.
You can. I don't remember exactly how to make that happen. Okay, cool. It looks like it cleared that out. Let's go into our grass. So something I should point out is that now that I've painted in here, so we've got our rocky grassland, we have our trees, and then we have our painted vegetation. So this is like an actual layer in itself too. So you can change this out, which is nice. It is all one object. It's like the whole thing. You can't really move it, but this is a little indicator that it's there. You can see that now I can get at all these little pieces down here. So let's actually take these out. So, okay, well, fine, be that way. That one. Whoops, undo. Back. Oh, it's thinking. Bye.
Oh, you broke it.
Yeah, we'll do that one. Was it just going to like hang in the background? There it goes. Okay. Let's see where I saved at last. It's pretty easy to get up and running again, though, which is nice. Tammy, yes, you can take high quality 4K photos with this. You can get really, really, really high resolution stuff. It's pretty impressive. Oops. Well, at least I got most of my stuff. That's cool. All right, so we'll get rid of our ground. Here, landscape. Come on back.
That good old save project. Not a bad idea.
We're just going to do it again right now. How I feel about that. I didn't like that landscape anyways. Whatever.
Yeah, it was dumb.
All right, so let's go here. Whoops, we want this one, Sculpt Terrain. Let's bring this up. Oh. Sorry, my hand is sitting right on top of my tablet. It was freaking it out. All right, so now we got that at a nice height. Let's grab our plateaus. and make a
Yeah. How does that work, the plateau thing? Because that's really cool.
So what it's doing is it's sampling wherever that ground is actually at. Let's turn this down again.
Like you change to it on that toolbar, that orange toolbar.
Yeah.
Down below, you switch to
this one,
plateau icon, and then when you click on the surface, it uses that surface as the plateau.
Height. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
it
just
nice.
knows. It's so cool. So we could probably we need to go a little bit higher, or we could grab everything and move it all down. But let's see if we can.
Perfect. Simulation of what it'll be like in 300 years.
Right.
Neat.
Get this right under his feet. There we go. So now we got that. Again. Cool. So there's that. Excellent. Back up. Let's go up. That's the up button. And let's give ourselves a little bit of terrain here. Oh, let's go up a little bit more. See what are those shapes? We got blobs. We got smooth circle. What do we do for blobs?
Oh, nice. Whoa.
That's entertaining. We can do a little bit of
point of geological interest right there.
There's a little bit of smoothing this out.
Oh, nice. Man, this is very hypnotic. This is like ASMR for the eyes. Just like
it's eye candy.
Wow.
Smooth some of that out. Let's get rid of some of that. All right. That's not so bad. Cool. All right. So let's go back into our trees. And let's just grab these two here. So I can also, that's going to let me do it. No, it's not going to let me do it. Yeah. So if I've got a couple of them in here, what it's actually going to do is it's going to kind of cycle through them as I click. So it'll grab me a different one and I can just like individually place them, which is nice. Personally, I like the Vegetation Painter a little bit better because it's quicker. So go into down here at the bottom, new vegetation. Let's grab one of those and one of those, and we can grab birch. There we go. Grab this. You'll notice it doesn't really like doing it on the edges there. It knows that it's got some kind of angle that it doesn't want to deal with. Now, the other thing that I'm doing is I'm also kind of remembering that, the player or the viewer is going to be kind of down in this area. So I'm kind of isolating and kind of creating this little, world that they can't get out of, which works really well. So do that one. So let's go back over here. I'm going to paint, but I don't want you. So if I select you, there we go. And then we can come back over here, come back into this. There we go. So this will reset a new one. So I get a new object, and let's just double check save because I had it die on me a minute ago. Wait for it. All right. So grasses and flowers. So let's drop in some clovers. Let's drop in, let's do some daisies and some yarrows. And what other grasses do we have? Some wild grass. So there we go.
Is there any right-click context on those?
Down
like
here,
down
yes.
there in the library, yeah. No.
Yeah.
But no, like settings or anything.
Yeah. Okay, so what I was trying to show you is that if I click and drag across this, I will put grass all over this, and it'll like stick off the sides, and it's good times, right? So what I'm going to do, instead of having that happen, I'm going to just hold shift and just turn all these pieces off. I don't need Michael on there. He doesn't need that on him. And then I can come in here and just paint in the grass.
Whoa.
Like so. Bring all these pieces back. So you can see we've got grass, a little bit much, and a little bit of the daisies and stuff. So let's turn the daisies down, take the yarrows and drop these ones down.
There you go. That's what I was wondering. Nice.
Give it a moment. Slowly disappearing. To like 2%.
And why is it pulsating like?
It's the green underneath it.
Yeah.
So the green underneath it is a way for us to, let's actually give ourselves a little bit more room to see what's going on. So you can see in the background, see it's pulsating green. It's not actually rendering it back there just to save us on frame rate, but it lets me know that I have actually put something down over there.
Okay.
Which is kind of nice. Turn some of these guys down too, and the grass. And then within the grass, we can change, how tall we actually want our grass to be. We can tint the dryness. If we actually want stripes in there, like somebody's been mowing the lawn, or if it looks like, like a football field, the wind is on there. We actually don't need wind on all that stuff. And I can also, now that I've kind of slammed all this stuff in here, go to the eraser, and I can kind of erase it out of this area. There we go. So like so. So we've got that.
A little pathway.
Yeah, so we can do some cool stuff here too. So if we go into objects, we've got things like primitives, like circle base, right? So we can grab a base in here. And if we open up our transforms, oops, 90 frames a second. We're still doing pretty good. So we've got our scale translate over here, so we can type in numbers. We can also use the, let's see, 3, 4. What is it going to give it to me? Okay. You can actually just click them down here, but you can see it's, okay, there it is, 6 and 7. So 5, 6, and 7. There we are. So our scale, just zoom in on this a little bit. Get out of there. So if we needed a specific size, we can do that. I want this. So you'll notice if I click on something, it'll open this up over here on the side. That is a default setting. You can turn that off, which can be very nice. So
you got to mow that, You gotta hire
right. It's a little bit
landscapers.
Right. Whoa, hey, we want this button. All right. So then if we grab our move tool. Oh, did I just delete all of my grass? Is it in there? Is it just not? Oh, I'm so far away from it. It's not rendering. There we go. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. All right. So we can take this. Let's go back into our scale. We can open this up. So you can see our ground isn't perfectly set up. It looks like it's rendering between it. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Make the camera move a little bit faster. I was hoping I was going to be able to use this as like a path around the outside, but it looks like, did I rotate it? I might have rotated it. Ah, there we go.
Wow.
All right, so then our position. Come here, click and drag on that, or click on it, and we can move that up and down. Is it going to give it to me? There we go. That's not so bad. So cool. I've got that in there. And then we can find a material that we actually want to put on this. So let's say something like just a regular concrete. Let's do fine concrete. There we go. We've got a fine concrete on here. It's a little bit high. I'm going into Michael's legs here. We're just going to have to move him up. If I can get a hold of him. There we go. So there's that. We can also, let's go ahead and close that down. Let's start to give this a little bit more, like, what would this actually look like? Whoop, not lights. We want props. So inside of our objects, we've got city. Inside of city, we've got fountains, plasters, signs, streetlights. Let's grab some streetlights. Well, what kind of streetlights do we want? Well, we can do some kind of silly ones. These are nice, right? So we just did each one of these over here. And if you hold shift, you can actually clone this over. So now I've got another one over there. I'm just going to make an instance of it. And that way, when I change one of them, it'll change all of them, which is very nice. Oh, sorry. I'm so used to Unreal. We want to go up. These should actually probably be behind. So that way people aren't walking into them. Grab that one, bring that over. That's fine. Hold shift, grab that one, bring that one over. There we go. So these also, so this is a good time to kind of play with this. Close that down. So down here, let's see if we go into weather. So in our little context settings down here, if we go into weather, we can actually change. So sunny, let's actually get a little bit of the sky in here too. Let's see this. Back it up. So we can change the weather, and you can see it'll actually change the sky. We can get it to rain. Comes back out the other side. And we can actually put a little bit of clouds in there. Let's actually go right about there-ish. So I don't want puddles in the water. Nice. We can also change the seasons. So if we want it to be fall, you notice that everything changes. And if I go into winter, you'll notice that the water freezes.
Oh,
and then we lose all of our leaves in here too.
That's so cool.
Okay. We can also change the growth overall. So what is this going to look like in 20 years? What is it going to look like when it's first installed?
Yep.
Okay. Effects over here. We have our wind speed. We've got our wind direction. We can add smog if this is going to be inside of a city, or if we just want a little bit of fog in there too. Particles for like snow and rain. We have an ocean in here as well. If I turn this on, everything's going to flood, which is rather entertaining. But if you're doing something like a houseboat, this actually allows you to do that. Now you can of course set the height on this. Something that's kind of fun about this, if I raise it high enough so it's over, yay, we're underwater, you'll notice that the water like falls off the lens.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is what Atlantis looks like, right?
Oh,
bring this down. We don't need the ocean, but you can definitely make that kind of happen too, which is nice. If we go settings, so our lighting, we can actually change the exposure, the white balance, the global illumination, the shadows. Like all of this stuff is just little switches and movers. We've got camera stuff in here. We can change depth of field. We've got vignetting, laser, lens flares, visual effects that we can add to it, all kinds of crazy filters. So if you want something that looks specifically like, whoops, yeah, is it in here? You're gonna let me do it? Yeah. So if you want something that looks like a blueprint, you can actually make it look like a blueprint. I'll just say none. You make it look like an 8-bit. Yay! That's kind of trippy. All kinds of silly things that go into there. But what I was looking for, let's see here. So we want time of day. And if we look at the lights, now I don't have any actual lighting coming off of this yet. They're just kind of sitting there, but they do change and they will light up. And they're not too bad. They've got a little bit of light that kind of comes with them, but everything will actually, daytime, nighttime, the lights will actually light those areas up. And we can come in here and within our lights, you can see that we've actually got IS or IES profiles in here too. So if you're doing indoor stuff, you can actually set it up so that those lights will behave the way you want them to, which is pretty freaking cool.
That is cool.
So let's go back daytime here. About like so. And this is floating very much so. Just a touch. Okay, that's actually not going to work because it's sticking through the ground. So I'm going to abandon that idea. That's fine. That's how I feel about that. Oops, up. We're going to go up. Okay, so characters within here, we've got posed humans. These characters just kind of stand around. They don't do anything. But we've also got things like groups. So if you wanted, we don't have a place to actually put the hopscotch, but we can actually set that in there. But we can grab like a group of kids, wait for it. We can start to populate this so that they're kind of playing. Maybe we're actually working in construction. So again, thinking about your phases that you're set up. I don't know, maybe somebody's got like a piano and they're just kind of hanging out. Wait for it. Oh, don't crash on me. There we go. We brought a piano. They're hanging out over here. They're happy. That guy's in the wall. Right. So characters are in there. We also have animals. We can grab some butterflies. We can grab some butterflies. It's a happy piano time, right? We can grab Felix. Maybe Felix is hanging out next to the water. That's what we do have Wanda. Remember, fish called Wanda?
Fish called Wanda. Cool.
These are going to kind of clip through there. Yeah, my water's not deep enough to and have those be in there. So go to those. Sam and Joe. Maybe we got Sam and Joe in there. And these are actually particles, is the way they're actually being built, which is pretty cool. We've got the Death Squad, Sea Squad, your pigeon, your typical pigeon hanging out on everything that you got.
On the asteroid belt.
Miss Muffin, so goats, all kinds of animals inside of there. Cutouts, groups, animals. So those are all those. Objects, again, this is just huge, full of things. Particles, this one's kind of fun because we do have waterfalls, showers, dripping, ground fog, smoke, but we also have water jets. So in case we want our fountain to actually have water jets in it, we can set those up too. So we got our Bellagio happening. Good times. We also have some other things that we can play with inside of here. So let's go into our tools, and inside of our tools, sorry, that was really fast. So down here in the bottom right in the library, we have our tools. And inside of here, we have our little animators. So we've got a rotator and a translators. So the rotators, we've got a couple of different ones and some examples so you can see how those actually work. I'm just going to grab a generic one here. So if I grab this, set it right there, this then becomes the pivot point. So if I grab something like, let's come up here. So if I grab Jupiter, and we drag this, whoa, these are not on. If I drag this down, we've got our rotator. And Jupiter will actually rotate around that point. So this rotator needs to be set up so that it is in proper place. So 0. And wish you could tab through these. If you're watching Epic, I would very much appreciate that one. So Jupiter's going around. That's interesting. Are you not going through the right spot? Oh, that's odd. Let's make sure that Jupiter's, let's make sure that Jupiter's actually set at 0. There we go. That should make it work. All right, so if we grab our rotator, right now it's actually ping-ponging back and forth, and that's what's going on here. So let's take that, and we're going to change that from ping-pong to loop. So now it's just going to loop over and over and over. Now we can change our angle because it's only going 90 degrees. So let's change this to 360 all the way around. So now this will actually go around our fountain. It's going a little bit fast, so we can then turn down our speed. So we can kind of adjust this as each one of them. There we go. Now I can add multiple to this. If I wanted to, I could also keep these on separate rotators to make things really simple. If we grab all of these, drag these down. Now they're all going to move. They're all going to move together. But you get the idea how you can actually kind of separate these if you were to put them on separate rotators, which makes your life much, much easier to kind of deal with, depending on how you want to set this up. And I do want to slow that down, actually. Much slower. So it's not realistic, but you can see it's actually doing what we want it to do, which is nice. So at this point, it's just kind of populating all of the pieces that we need and getting them in here. But we can also, just to kind of move things along, so we've got images, panoramas, videos, phasing, and our presenter. So if we choose image, we can say create image. And what it's going to do is wherever the camera is currently at is where it's actually going to create that image from. So if I move my camera here, and I don't need any of that selected. There we go. Nope, it's still going to let that one. Oh, I don't want those selected. All right, well, whatever. That's not going to really matter. So if I do an image and come down here and I click it, I now have an image. And what's nice about these is if you're used to Unreal, they're basically like little bookmarks. So if I click on that, the camera will actually zip back to that location. So if you want to set your camera in a very specific location, this is one way you can kind of hack it to make it happen. You'll notice that now I'm actually in this media mode. So if I quit that, then I can come out of it and actually kind of move around. That doesn't really affect anything, but if you click this, it goes back into it, and I'm good in here. Each one of these has all kinds of settings. So I can rename it, I can delete it, I can duplicate it. If I go into more, I can come in here and I can actually change the weather on this specific image at this specific location, which is really nice too. So if we come back into image, let's just move our camera over here. So, and I create a new one, you will notice if I go back to the original and we go ahead and look more, and then we change our weather. I can actually change the season for this. I don't know why they're standing around in the cold, but I can do that. Back to our image. And if I click on this one, it's summertime. And I click on this one, it's wintertime. And this does affect the time of day. It affects everything that you actually put inside of this, which is really nice. So you can kind of play with however you want to work this up. If you
Those are hardy butterflies you got there.
They're serious. They are not affected by the.
They don't care.
Yeah. 0 cares given. Let's go back to the summertime. Okay. All right. So we've got these in here. So let's go back to our media. So if we go into our presenter, we can create a presentation. So in here, so do we want to actually set in different kinds of media clips inside of here? So we've got our 2 images. I'm just going to drag this one in. So there's that. So like so. Here we go. If we go back into here, oh, there's that one. So then we go to export. So down here, we've got our images in the bottom left. So I'm in the very bottom of this. So instead of here, I can choose which one of these images I actually want to send out. So that one's now selected. It's image 2. It's a wonderful name. Okay. And then I can start my export. So this will then export this out. And the resolution that you play with, I believe, is inside the settings. So Tammy, to answer your question, I believe that's where they're at. But then I can send this out. Let's just do the cardinal sin and drop it on the desktop.
Called delete me.
Yeah, delete me later. All right, and I'm going to do the best thing I can do and save for the moment. But if we go to the actual desktop, oh, it's not going to let me do that right now. Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. So here's that image. But you can see this is a pretty good sized image. There we go. I mean, it's still pretty good resolution inside of here. So this works really nicely. So yay, you've got your presentable image. So let's empty. We want that one. So we're going to grab that one. It's in there. There's one in there, right? More. So we can save local. Now that I've got this in here, or we can actually send this out to cloud. Now this is in beta at the moment of this recording. So if we say early access, we can do that. We'll do save. There we go. Let's go.
Have you saved your project lately?
Yeah, I just did it. So we're gonna hit export. Oh, it does that one. I don't want this one. Twinmotion. So yay, we understand that this is, in beta, and we accept everything that's going on in here. Yay. So it's going to come in here. It's actually going to generate the data for this. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take. I've got some pretty dense models in here. A couple of them are a little over a couple 100,000 points each. A couple of the planets are a little bit crazy talk. So this could take a little while. So if this takes for the rest of the hour or whatever it happens to be, we'll definitely put the link in down below and let you know that you can jump into it, because we definitely want to be able to show this off, because it's such a cool feature to be able to jump into the world that it took, well, in this case, today it was only about an hour, but 3 hours, 4 hours total with everything on screen and the other videos and off screen. The off-camera magic. So there it is. That's pretty much everything there is to kind of play with inside of Unreal to get Unreal, inside of Twinmotion to get you kind of up and running and working on projects. Again, it's a real world creator. That's one of the reasons that I really enjoy playing with it, because I'm like, oh, I can make kind of whatever the heck I want to and just kind of build upon it. I can change all the colors. I have actually used this with clients in the past. They've created art installations. Like, well, what does it look like with these materials and over here? And let's actually put people around it, so it looks like it's got all these worldly things going on. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do that. Like, let's actually do that and make that a thing. Clients love these. Investors love them even more, because they're like, okay, now I have a way of actually seeing what this is going to be looking like inside of an actual location. And we can kind of guesstimate what it's actually going to cost to build this, how long it's going to actually take. As mentioned before, there's areas in here where you can set it up so you can set it in phases, like building phases. So that's always really nice too.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I know like a pool builder company that, generates proposals for clients, so being able to recreate the landscape and the construction of the pool from a plan or a proposal would be cool, and you could modify the plan and probably re-import it. What about like interior design as well, like floor plans and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have a tendency to work outside because I like big open worlds. But the inside stuff, yeah, absolutely. There's very little limit there as well. There's some amazing videos that Epic has put out that talk about how you can set up the doors. So as the presenter, like, I didn't actually set this up, but as you're presenting through this, as you're walking through the interiors, the doors will actually open when you get near them.
Cool.
I'm assuming what they're using are trigger boxes, just like you would use inside of Unreal, but all of that stuff's already set up and ready to go. All you have to say is that needs to open as soon as I get near it. and it just does it for you. It really pulls all of the coding out so that architects don't have to learn all the stuff that they need to make that stuff actually work. Like, oh, here's a button, drop it attached to that, and it'll just work for you. So you can make that happen very, very easily. So I did click this open presenter cloud down here, and this is where it sent me. So it is, my drive is currently empty. I don't have anything in there yet. You'll notice I got a very generic piece up here at the top in the address as well. So we'll see where this actually drops into. We set it right there, transferring. So I decided years ago, I think it would be super fun. Let's close that one. Whoops, close that one down. It would be super fun to, every time you see a loading screen or a loading bar, is just to time it. And at the end of the year, see how many hours you spent waiting for these things to do what they're supposed to do. All right, so here we go. So here it is. Here is the presenter. It was sent here today, right? Size, it's not that big, right? So we can share this. So email addresses, we'll be asking for that. I should be able to send this as a link. So we'll figure that one out, kind of a thing. We can view this. So if we say view, I am currently running inside of Chrome. So y'all can kind of see this. Max presentation, 60 minutes. So this is running on a machine elsewhere in the cloud. It is not running on my machine at this point. Please don't close your window. It's doing the thing.
Please, I'm doing all this work for you.
Stop freaking out. Stop freaking out. Wait for it.
Trust me, I'm working.
I'm doing the thing. While this is going, I will bring this up so y'all have a chance to see some of the cool stuff. There it is. Look at that. It's running. That looks like that's not too bad.
Well, dang.
There it is. Where is video? Dang. All right. Well, yeah, the new Twinmotion video that they just dropped today was pretty cool. Okay, so control schemes. It's all up here. It's a little laggy. Takes a little bit to kind of get everything up and loaded, but you can see I can actually walk around. I'm just using right mouse. Yeah, left mouse doesn't do anything. So right mouse will allow me to turn. ASDW will allow me to kind of fly around in here. I didn't leave any limitations, so y'all can actually go and find the edge of my world, should you really want to go way out there and kind of look at this. You do have a lot of fun things over here too still, so you can change the time of day. You still have access to this. You can change how fast you want your camera to be moving. So this little fly mode I'm in, but if I hit pedestrian mode, now I'm stuck on the ground. Space bar will play it. Let's go back into.
So you can climb on the artwork to simulate the real people.
The dangers of what humans would actually do.
Like you put a sign that says "Do not climb on the wall," and then start climbing up on the wall.
This is not for climbing on.
To portray reality.
So what's really wild here, so let's actually turn around over here.
Was that girl taunting that kid? She looked like she
might have been being rude.
A sumo taunt or something.
Bring it,
kid, bring it.
So it's fun too, as a client, I can come in here and be like, oh, well, what would this thing look like in metal, or what would it look like in foam? Like, yeah, this is super silly. I don't know why you do this, but it's good times, right? Flat outline. So these are like kind of shaded modes, which is kind of fun. You can kind of see your flat, all the pieces that you want. Turn that off. Ooh, how do you get it out of there now? Ooh, I turned it on. How do you turn it off? Let's click that button. There we go. There we go. Back to it, down at the bottom. So that will get rid of all your stuff that's there. You can play. Now, if you hit the play button, I've only got one image in here, but if you were to actually have like videos and cameras and moving around, it would actually play through each one of those as you're actually going through there. Don't need that up there. I know what's going on. So up here in the top left, we've also got duration, how long you've been in here, connections, bit rates, which is nice. You can actually go into full screen, which is also really cool. You don't need that information in there. So there you have it. It's up and running. We'll figure out how to get this inside the description so you guys have a chance to kind of play with this and see what's actually going to go on in it. Because there it is. So all that work from ZBrush, creating all of our planets, from Maya, creating all of the architecture that you see around here, and then everything else beyond that, the materials and the entire world created here inside of Twinmotion.
Wow, what a whirlwind journey you've taken us on. I love this, man. That's cool. I'm picturing this art installation. Like, it would be cool, like, if they rotated all separately and there was like this time, like once every 12 years when they all lined up perfectly or something like crazy like that. You know, you have these planetary anomalies. Planetary anomalies. I like that. It's after 10 a.m. I could use words like that.
Is that how that works?
That would be that'd be cool if there was like these rare events that people would come over and tramp down some of those weeds.
Yeah, it's a party. It's a thing. Because you can get it on the cloud. I think that's one of the most amazing features. Like, oh, I can just do a thing. Like, this is super, super cool to be able to kind of set this up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, how powerful and fun, man. I could see just getting a little carried away. And then you're like, well, I have to build this. How much is it going to cost me? It seemed like so much fun. I didn't even plan, but I'm out in the backyard shoveling some new installation in the yard.
Yep. So I just dug to see what it's going to take to get everybody on there, and it has to be sent out specifically to a very specific email, and you have to give them a password. So
they get to watch this video again.
They get to watch the video. Yeah, that's such a bummer. Oh, yeah. Well, but that's also nice for, like, you know, keeping things nice.
I wonder if the commercial license gives more capability or something.
That could be a thing. It could very much be a thing.
Industries, games, architecture.
Yep.
Oh, that's unreal.
Yep. Dang, I was really hoping y'all are going to be able to wander around it, but you can see how easy it is to set that up. An hour worth of button pressing, and then it's done. So,
and that it has a bunch of plugins too, huh? Like that you can get and like install. Direct link for CAD for SketchUp.
Yes, yeah.
Revit.
Connect a lot of different programs to it. So
Rhino.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm guessing like people in architecture business already know about this or need to get on it now if they're not. Like,
I learned about 2 years ago, and some of the architects that I talked to, there are a bunch of other programs out there that are very similar to this. So it'll be cool to see how this works with the competition. Of course, all their promotional videos talk specifically about what they can actually, what they can do for you, kind of things, and it's pretty wild. And the one that, like I said, that just dropped today, really talks about what you can do beyond this if you're actually running inside of the Unreal Engine. You can use the Unreal Engine to make it happen. And I just found the link to that video. It just came out today.
Oh, nice.
So real-time ArcViz. Pretty amazing. Very cool. So, yeah. So that's all I've got. Yay.
That was a lot. We're not complaining. I think we got our money's worth out of this 3-part series.
Right. So what are we doing next week? What are we doing next week? Do we know? Do we have any ideas? Anybody want to see something specific? I mean, Mother's Day is coming up. Maybe we'll do some jewelry.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
We can certainly play with other toys out there. There's lots of other ways to use all of this technology.
I know. Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe we'll send out some tweets, find out what people want to see.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I know. Like on my side, people were asking about skin packs and stuff like that, which is something I probably got to do on my Friday stream.
Cool.
So, all right, yeah. So if you're watching, throw what you want to see in the comments. YouTube is the best place for that. Those videos are going to live on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So do that, and make sure you subscribe, like, follow, thumbs up. No thumbs down. Ring the bell. Tip your waiter. All that good stuff. Yeah. All right, bro. Anything else?
That's it. That's all I got for today.
All right.
We can
Cool.
call it. So thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. For those of you that have, we very much appreciate that. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Sounds good. See you guys.